to another episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about 10 things not to say to us. But before we begin, how's it going, superstar? Just off of your debut with Mr. James Mullinger, how did it go?
It went really well. It was a really exciting night, actually. Like I had gone to see the show the night before. My friend Jeff Pinnell opened up for James, and he was amazing, and he got a great response from the crowd, and that was exciting. And then James did like a full 80 minutes, all riffing on audience suggestions.
Okay.
And so that was an incredible feat to watch. James is just, he really is excellent. Like, he's so good. And you see it in his Polish Your Teens, but you really see it when he's just coming up with stuff off the cuff. He's just so funny. And beyond that, he's the loveliest man. Like I've talked about him before, and he's so kind and so generous in even having me on this show. So I show up on Friday night. I was early, and I did a sound check at the BMO, and that was really fun. And I was just hanging out backstage. And also Tyler Warren Ellis, who shoots all of James's videos and most of his photos. James had asked him to come to this particular show to do a little recording and also to shoot some photos. So I ended up with some sweet photos out of it as well, which is really helpful when I'm like putting them on posters for other shows and stuff. And like, I'll tell you, I don't do well with photos sometimes. Like, I'm always like, ugh, that's not great. I mean, especially like bad angles and stuff, but these are not that. I was so happy with them. I was like, oh, I look nice. And I wore a dress that mom bought me for Christmas. I was like, that looks nice.
Well, a professional photographer definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah. And he would have deleted all the times I was making dumb faces and only took the ones where I was making less dumb faces.
I would have kept all the dumb faces.
Of course you would.
But that's me.
So it was just a really incredible experience. Although when I first started, I walked out, and for the first time in my life, I actually kind of went up a little bit, and I just couldn't remember exactly what I was going to say. And I was like, hi. And then I looked at the people in theater experiences. Can really only see the first couple of people, and then the lights make it so you can't see anyone else, which is sometimes comforting for people. But I kind of like to look around and stuff. But in this particular case, I could only see these two people, and they look so mad.
I know that when I've done theater stuff, I don't like that you can only, and it, to me, it almost makes me focus on people right here, and that's a problem too,
right? Especially when those people are not giving you anything back. If those people were like super happy and laughy, that would have been great, because I would have been like, yeah. But I was like, why do you hate me? But it's one of those things that, like, who knows, like they may not have liked me, but they also may have just have resting mean faces.
We can say bitch on here.
Yeah, but I don't.
Well, I do. And it was a sold out show, right?
And it was a sold out show, about 100 people there. And
that's super exciting.
It's super exciting. And
is that the biggest crowd you've done so far?
I don't know.
Quite close to it, at least.
Really close to it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was neat. And it's such a nice theater space too.
Yeah, no, I do like the BMO space.
It's got a brick wall, so it feels like a very comedy club-esque.
And you got your Netflix deal now, right? That's
well, I haven't signed yet, so don't bring it up. We can't say here.
Can't say here. Oh, yes, right. Sorry, you didn't make me sign an NDA yet. So
yeah, my 15 minutes of material is going in a Netflix special.
Yes, listen, with a bunch of other comedies. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, actually, James gave me a copy of his latest CD too.
Sweet.
And the opening of the CD. It was a show he had recorded at the Imperial Theater, and he's like, "Oh, Caitlin Dean, you're sitting in the exact same spot as last year." And so I was like, "Hey, I'm everywhere."
You are everywhere.
And actually, I had a bunch of friends come, which was nice. Not Isaiah,
not me.
And then two girls. One of them had seen me before at another place and came up to me at the end and was like, "You were so great, and we're big fans." And blah blah. I was like, so much.
Yeah, not me. I was gonna go, but by the time I got around to trying to buy tickets, it was sold out.
Yeah, same with my family actually. So it's fine. You're not alone.
Because I am a slacker. It was the first time I was gonna go, and clearly it's a sign that I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, the stars didn't align this time.
That's right.
So what about you? What's been going on with you the last couple of weeks?
I mean, I had that interview, which went well. I haven't heard anything back yet, but it did go well. I learned some interesting stuff about that business, but I won't really talk about it here. But it was a pretty cool little experience going for the interview there. I have been streaming a lot, continually doing that, playing video games and on Twitch, which I'm almost at 30 followers now, which is cool on there. So, it's a little bit of a fun little thing I've been doing on the side. Other than that, I've been trying to make sure I walk every morning. I've been trying to stick to our routine. How about you?
So, as I mentioned multiple times on this podcast so far, I actually downloaded a plan and worked out a plan for the next until May 31st of the walk. And so far, I've been sticking to it like clockwork. And
Nice.
so far, it's also been super easy. So started on Tuesday. Tuesday, I did 10 minutes and it was really freezing out. So I stayed in the pedway system, walked as far as I could toward Harbor Station. And then when my 5-minute alarm went back off, turned around and walked back.
Nice.
Because I'm in the mercantile, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, rest day.
Yes.
And then Thursday, another 10-minute walk. And this time I made it all the way to Harbor Station in 5 minutes.
Nice.
As opposed to just halfway. So that felt like a marked improvement. It could have been because the first day I had all of my stuff with me at the end of the day.
Yep.
And I just walked and so I think this time I went at lunch hour and I didn't have all of my stuff with me. So that was nice. And that felt really good. And then Saturday was my long walk.
Nice.
And I have a confession.
You didn't do your long walk.
I almost didn't do my long walk.
Ooh, I did not do the long walk.
It was only 20 minutes.
Yeah, I did not.
Well, that's fine. We're all doing our thing. And let's face it, you probably have a lot less work to go to be 5K ready than I do. But I was talking myself out of it. I was like, you have to drive to Woodstock because I went to Woodstock this weekend, spent some time with friends, and more to come on that because there's some other exciting stuff percolating. But I was like, oh, I could just go and maybe I'll just walk there, and having all these negotiation things in my head. And then I was like, no. And I packed all my stuff. I got in the car and I stopped at Harbor Passage and I set my alarm for 10 minutes and I walked 10 minutes out and then I turned around and walked back and I did it. And I was so glad that I had done it. And I was like,
Nice.
youth.
I did Tuesday and Thursday. I did not do Saturday's long walk. I walked up the street and I did a little bit down to the block, and then turn around, walk back.
Well, that's better than, you know what? Going out there and developing that habit is better than nothing.
Yeah. So I do it every morning when my wife goes to work. I throw on some clothes and I do a quick little walk around, and then I come back in and
That's
do my
sweet.
thing. Yeah.
It's good fresh air, good
Yeah.
start to the day. Any kind of routine is not a bad
It's a
thing.
little chilly, but it's not too bad.
No.
We'll see once it gets even colder. It's getting colder and colder every single
I
day.
know. I also made a bunch of meals last week
Ooh,
and brought lunches to work.
sweet.
So my meal planning has been top tier.
Nice.
I'm feeling good entering the weekend. Then I realized that I didn't have anything ready for tomorrow when I was away on the weekend. And then I was just at my sister's and she gave me a healthy lunch for tomorrow.
Nice. I watched Borderlands today.
What's that?
It's a movie based on a video game. It's a terrible movie.
I will never watch.
No, don't worry about it. It's a bad movie. It was bad. It was bad CGI, bad screenwriting, bad acting. It was just all around a bad movie, and it was supposed to be like a AAA movie, and it's bad.
That's a sin.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad things, let's get to our topic at hand,
All right.
which is 10 things you should never say to us.
Okay.
No, in all seriousness, I was just scrolling the internet and I found this listicle of 10 things you shouldn't say to someone who's overweight. And I thought we'd talk about them and go step by step. And some of these things, yes, never say. Some of these things you just shouldn't say to anyone. And some of these things, depending on, we'll talk through it.
I have not seen this list. I don't know anything that's on this list. So,
and maybe I should deliver it as if I'm telling you.
Oh,
that could be fun. Okay, let's do some acting.
Sorry, actor.
Isaiah, you'd be so pretty if you lost weight.
Oh, I don't like being called pretty, first off.
Fair, but like,
Yeah, that's, yeah, no.
You'd be so handsome if you lost weight.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, like, why am I not pretty now?
Yeah, I like it. Just even in general, you shouldn't tell someone you'd be more pretty if you like smiled.
Yeah,
like that's like,
you'd be pretty if you cut your hair. Oh, if you weren't bald, you'd be way more handsome.
Yeah, like
why? Why does it have to have a qualifier? If you want to tell somebody they're attractive, do that in the right context and blah blah blah. Or say nothing.
Or just don't bother with it.
That is not a compliment.
Right. Now, I will do a little qualifier to it. If it is a friend, a very close friend, and you ask for an opinion, that's different.
Yeah.
But that's not.
But I don't think that would come up even in an opinion.
That's not them. Yeah. And if it's a close friend, they're probably not going to say that.
Right. Does this dress look good on me? While you're in the store before you've bought it? No. Next size up would look better. Maybe in black. No, it's slimming. No, none of those things would happen. Even like a close friend. When asking for an opinion, though, you have to be ready to accept the answer.
Yeah, it's a little different than someone just saying it.
Yeah, just like, and I've actually had this happen to me where people have come up and be like, oh my God, you'd be so pretty if you've lost weight.
Oh my God.
You've got a really nice smile. If you lost weight, you'd be so pretty.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like,
oh, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
No, don't do that.
Cool, thanks. I'm gonna go cry now. Number 2.
Yeah.
Isaiah, I'll deliver this to you. It's so easy to lose weight. All you have to do is eat less and exercise more.
Bitch, please. We've had this discussion a million times. Or we've even had a doctor come in and talk about this.
That was exactly a year ago.
Was it exactly a year ago?
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. I mean, sure, some people it might be that easy, but that doesn't mean it's easy for everyone.
No, and there's so many factors, and we've talked about this before.
So many factors.
There's physical markers, as our doctor, the good Dr. Mike Pelkey said. There's mental health markers. There's all kinds of things that contribute to weight.
Yeah.
That if it was just as easy as a calorie deficit and moving more, well, hell. Because the truth is, you could put 30 people in the room and you could give them all the same food intake and give them all the same exercise every day, and we're all going to have different body shapes.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, don't say that. Isaiah, I don't see you as fat.
Thanks.
Cool.
It doesn't. That is the opposite of what you think you're saying.
Right. And okay. Now, there are a couple caveats to this one, though. I have had this come up, like, especially when you talk about children and things like that. So I may have even told this story on this podcast, but a couple months ago, I was talking to my sister and my nephew, and we were on our way into Big Tide to have a bite to eat. And I said, "Oh, Malachi," because he was running ahead, and I was like, "You get in there first. Can make sure you don't sit in a booth," because he's like, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm too fat for a booth, Malachi." And he stopped dead in his tracks on the street, and he looked up at me in his 10-year-old wisdom, and he's like, "You're not fat."
But that's innocence.
That is,
that's different.
And that's totally acceptable and really kind of sweet, because to him, I'm just his Aunt Kate, who he loves dearly, and he doesn't see me as anything other than his Aunt Kate.
Right.
And I think there are cases in friendships and stuff like that where that is a thing, because I had another instance where a friend was talking about her upcoming nuptials.
Yeah.
This is years and years and years ago. And she really just had an issue with her sister-in-law, didn't like her sister-in-law. And she's like, oh, she's so fat, she's gonna ruin all my wedding pictures. But she also just didn't like this woman.
Yeah.
And so my tendency in that kind of scenario would be to like absorb it and move on and kind of just dwell on it myself. But in that moment, she was a really good friend. I said, listen, I guess you probably shouldn't invite me to your wedding then, because I wouldn't want to ruin your photos.
Oh.
Well, and part of me felt bad for being so like, but she immediately was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't think of you that way at all. And she wasn't saying it like out of the blue, like, I don't even see you as fat. She was just like, you're my...
That's a little different too. That is a comment after a fact of a comment.
Right.
Versus an unprompted comment, or even like there are certain degrees in which, you know, I don't see you as fat is, you know, that kind of if it's an unprompted or an indicator of something else, that can be a problem.
100%. And actually going back to young 10-year-old Malachi saying what he said, it was a very sweet moment. What I said to him is I said, well, thanks, Malachi. I said, I am fat, but that's okay. It doesn't mean I'm any less beautiful.
Right.
Which I think was an appropriate thing to say to the 10-year-old boy.
Yeah. I mean, that is where development of social skills comes in, right?
Right. Okay. Number 4. Oh, Isaiah, you look great. Have you lost weight?
That is a yes and a no. To me, it depends on who it comes from.
I think it depends on the pre-knowledge that the person has had. Like, we have a podcast where we talk about how we're doing a walking plan right now. Right. So if somebody who listens to this podcast came up to one of us in a month's time and said, oh my God, you look great. That walking's paying off. Have you lost some weight?
Right.
That's a different thing, because we've opened up a door.
Right.
But to just walk up to a random person and say, you look great. You can just end that sentence there.
Yes.
You look great.
Yeah, that's so we were joking about that kind of comment with my wife earlier with John, I think it's John Panette, who rest in peace, was a larger comedian, and he joked about the same similar vein of, oh, you've lost a lot of weight, you can really see it in your face. And the joke is, how big was my face beforehand?
And I didn't say this when we were talking about it out there, because I only thought of it now, but I've had people say that to me and I said, I really want to lose it in my ass. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, it depends on the context in which that comes out. Like, if you know that I am working on losing weight, if you know that if we've had conversations about it before, that's one thing. And then in the context of us being pretty open about
right
in a podcast talking about it is a whole different thing.
It's a whole different ballgame. At the same time, you can just end that sentence with, you look great.
100%.
Number 5. I mean, this doesn't work for me to deliver, but I'll say it anyway. I'm so fat when I'm not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want from me when you say that? Like, and now in saying that, some people have body dysmorphia and they actually legitimately feel fat, and that's a whole other thing. And it doesn't really matter what you're struggling with, to be honest. I actually think this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you feel however you feel.
Yeah. I think there is 2 ways of taking that. There is one, which is I just ate a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I'm so fat. Like that kind of
like,
just
you're not, but cool.
Versus I feel like I'm getting fat, which is that side of it is fine. Like, I feel like I'm getting fat. That side of it's fine. It's I just ate so much, I'm getting so fat.
Look at my food belly. I'm like, ew.
That part of it, to me at least, if you say that to me, I'm like, no.
I roll with them like, yeah, you are. But you'll join us.
I think that the context matters when we're talking about that part.
I think if anybody ever said that to me now, I'd be like, do you want to be on the podcast?
You want to come talk?
Number 6. Well, it's not like you're obese.
I mean,
Are you a doctor?
Do you know me? I mean, I am, but
Yeah, same. Yeah.
That part is just again, context really matters in a lot of these, where it depends on who's saying it in the what pretext came before.
I actually don't see a reason for anybody to ever say that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the conversation prior to it.
Yeah. I don't know what that conversation would be.
I don't know either, but there I can think of there'd be a time where that might be a
like what? You must have something in your mind.
I don't really I can't really think of it at the moment.
Okay. Because because I can't like some of these, yeah, I can totally see. With this one, I'm like, what do you like?
I can
see like I'm like, oh my god, I'm so fat and my clothes fit, blah blah blah. Well, it's not like you're obese. I'm like,
I mean,
yeah, okay, let's say I was a lot smaller than I am, and I was like, oh no, my clothes fit, and like everybody goes, lots of people go through that where it doesn't matter if you're a size 6 and you're a size 10 or a size 12, whatever. And you gain weight, it sucks because your clothes legitimately don't fit. You don't feel good.
How many times we talked about clothes?
Right. And I guess but I think saying like, well, it's not like you're obese as a qualifier to say somebody as a way to make somebody feel better. It's like saying, well, at least this isn't happening. And it's like, why have to qualify somebody's feelings?
Yeah.
Just let them.
Yeah. Adding an extra qualifier to a topic doesn't. Yeah.
You know, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's an extra qualifier that doesn't need to be there.
Because people do those kinds of things, the at least, blah, 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 in very well-intentioned ways.
Yes.
For a variety of things, not just weight, just like anything. Like, oh, you lost your job? Well, at least this didn't happen. And I've done it. I've done it. Yeah. Like, it's a natural human thing to do because they're like, we're trying to find the silver lining. And ultimately, we should just let people feel their feelings.
Understandable. Yeah.
To a point. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I am seeing you eat a salad, Isaiah, for the purpose of number 7. That looks healthy.
Nah, it's not. Do you not see all the stuff I threw onto it?
Cheese and bread?
Like cheese and bread and all the salad dressing. Drowned it in salad dressing.
Well, I don't actually mind that one. Especially when I've been open at work about like bringing my lunches and trying to be healthier and like all those things. So those are the people that are going to see me eat my lunch. Oh, that looks healthy. I don't actually mind that one that much.
Their context and intention,
right,
means a big thing on this one. If it's someone who is just walking by and sees you eating a salad and goes, oh, that looks healthy, that's a jab.
Yeah, that's totally a jab.
Versus someone who you've had conversations with before that comes up and says, oh, that looks healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
That the context and what the intent matter.
You didn't see me shame eat my McDonald's in the car earlier. Like,
that's right.
Exactly. Number 8. Oh, I've actually had this one said to me. I've always wanted a bum like yours.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, do you think that's a compliment?
I think some people think that is a compliment.
Well, you're right. I think they do.
Because it can be said about anything. It can be, oh, I wish I had, your curly hair. I wish I had hair. Right. It's the same with if someone's skinny. Oh, I wish I was as skinny as you. Right. That's
but I've never said that to somebody.
No. But have you not said someone, oh, I wish I had your hair?
No, I've said, I like your hair.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I don't. It's not a phraseology that I would use because but I don't really see a problem with it. But I do like when somebody's self-conscious about their body. For me, when I've been self-conscious about my body, I tried not to dress once and I did fill it out. I filled it out. And I think the person working at the store was like, oh, I wish I had a bum like yours. And I was like, you really don't. Causes back pain.
I think.
But they mean well. And I'm not saying I take offense to it.
Yeah, I think this one is an innocent. Is more innocent than anything. And I think
Yeah, I do.
It's something we should be conscious of what we're saying. But I don't see it. I don't see this one as being more trying to jab at someone or
no, and I don't. But that's the thing. Like they don't. Most of these can be well intentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm all for taking well intentioned comment on the chin, but it's good to be aware of these things 100%. Too. Like all of us, like, because we all have the propensity to say the wrong thing. I've definitely said the wrong thing to people.
Me too.
Number 9. This can be adapted. You don't look like a size 20, or you don't look like you're 300 pounds, Isaiah, or Caitlin, you don't look like you're 400 pounds.
Yeah, that one hurts a little bit.
And it's like, well, what in your mind does that look like?
Yeah. No, that one hurts a little bit. I mean, again, context matters.
Context does matter. And I know I'm a person that forever has always weighed more than I look like I weigh because of the way where I pack weight.
Yeah. And
fine. But again, it comes down to you just don't need to say it. Although that one doesn't, I'm always like, that one doesn't really bother me that much, to be completely honest.
But I think context and intent really matter in that, right? And I think the way in which it's brought up changes depending on how you take it.
Yeah.
Again, if I know you and we've had conversations, that's one thing. If you're just some random individual coming up to me and saying that, whole other thing.
Absolutely. And number 10. This woman at work just lost 50 pounds on this amazing diet.
Ooh, the magic bullet.
Ugh.
Yes, that one is dumb. Okay, congratulations to that person. Happy for them, but it's a diet. That's each person's diet is going to be different.
How long have they kept it off?
Yeah, is it sustainable?
Is it sustainable? What
else did they do?
Yeah. What, and why are you telling me this?
Right.
Did I ask for your opinion?
Right.
In some cases, and prior to this episode, I was with my sister and I kind of ran this list by her, and we were talking about like, what if you want to have a serious conversation with somebody you care about their health? Because there are avenues for that.
But that's not
any of those things.
Yeah. I mean, there is a way in which to bring that up. And there is, again, context in which you can bring those things up to people.
Yeah,
there is. I think if you are bringing, especially if it's about weight, you have to be aware. People aren't going to take it kindly at first.
Or they're going to get upset. And so you have to be prepared for that. And like, I've had difficult conversations. People have had those difficult conversations with me. One, like my mom, of course, but she does it out of the utmost concern and care. And sometimes it's been well received, and sometimes it really hasn't. Because the other thing is you don't need to tell a fat person that they're fat.
God no.
They trust me. They know.
Yeah, and I think that someone has to be in the right state of mind to be willing to accept that conversation to begin with. It's like any kind of, and I hate to say it, like it's like an addict at times. It's you have to be willing to be in, you have to be willing to have that conversation.
Right.
You don't want to hear it if you're not in the right state of mind to have that conversation.
Right. And unlike an addict to other things, you can't completely cut food out of your life. And I'm not saying the other is easy, but it's not like you can be sent to rehab to stop eating.
Right. You still have to eat to live.
You still have to eat to live.
Right.
And so it's it's a different issue. It's a complicated issue.
Very complicated.
I actually had that happen once years and years ago when I was working at Kent. 2 friends who also worked there, I was working on the customer service desk one night, came up to me during work and said, Caitlin, we're very concerned about your health and we really would like to help you lose weight and blah, blah, blah. And they were very sweet and they were very well-intentioned people and they're very good people but holy crap, was their timing bad.
Yeah.
I burst into tears while I was working, and nobody wants to do that.
Right. Time and place, people. Time and place.
Right. And one of them I did end up going to the gym with, and it ended up, but not because of that conversation.
Yeah.
But just the same, as always, think about what you're saying.
Yes.
And monitor reactions, because everybody's different.
Yeah. And I mean, again, context matters. And intent matters. And have you had conversations around this before with someone, or are you out of the blue thinking this and about to just drop a bomb on someone?
Right. And listen to them. Like, if they want to talk to you about it, they will, because trust me, they know.
It's true. Most people will know.
No, if you came up to me like, "Oh, Caitlin, you're fat." What? Where did this come from?
Oh my goodness.
Oh. On that note, where can people find you on the internet, Isaiah?
Well, I am on 2 places on the internet now. I am at Maritime Brews for all my beer and politics-ness, or Tweak the Prophet on Twitch and Instagram, and Blue Sky for my video game-ness, and I guess my movie stuff is Blue Skies. Yeah. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fat Caitlin on TikTok, Caitlin Dean on Facebook, at Kate D on Instagram, and you can find us at Kate and Isaiah Living Large on Facebook. If you're listening or watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, share, all of those fun things. Smash that.
Smash that like button.
And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple or any of the other platforms, thank you. And make sure to subscribe or whatever you got to do there. And if you want to see our pretty faces, come watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
We are beautiful.
We are. And we are.
And not when we lose weight, just all the time.
Just all the time. And we are still working on that not GoFundMe.
Buy me a coffee.
Buy me a coffee for that brand new camera, which we are getting there. Thank you for everyone who has donated so far. We definitely
really appreciate it.
And
thank you for listening, everyone.
Yes, thank you for listening. This is episode 96. I feel like we are so close to that
100.
That big 100. But until next week, bye.